Terrible.
All right, and we are now live and in living color. Welcome to another fantastic episode of This Week in Reselling, where we interview special guests each and every week from different walks of life in the reselling world. Here, we'll discuss the highs and lows in reselling and dive into great conversation. We are positive that you're going to hear something that will help you become a better reseller. I'm your host, Ray, and I am joined by my co-host, none other than Dustin.
What's up, everybody? What is up?
And today's guest, guys, a reoccurring guest on the show. This is his second time, I believe, on the show.
Yeah.
Is none other than Ethan, aka the college reseller. What's going on, Ethan?
What's up? I'm happy to be here. When you said that I could come on for a second time, I was like, yes, part two. I get a second
Part
chance.
two, baby. Part two. I love it. Part one was July of last year. So it's almost been a year.
It almost has been.
It's almost been a year. So I'm excited to see where you are now, Ethan. I know I went back earlier on in the week and I re-listened to it. And I kind of want to know, where you are now compared to where you are basically a year ago. And let's see. And you talked about some goals towards the end of the last podcast. And guys, if you want to listen to that podcast, I'll link it down below so you guys can listen to it. So we're going to see if you met those goals or what goals you have now, all that good stuff. But let's say hi to some people in the chat. We have Chris at Peak. He says, where's Ethan? Is he late for class again? That was actually my fault. We had some technical difficulties before the pod, so everything seems to be fixed. So I'm glad you're here, Chris. We need to have Chris on the pod, so I'm going to get with you, Chris.
Yep.
That's Unique Tennessee says, good evening, guys. Good to see you. Always glad that you're here. And Marie is on. Ray, Dustin, and Ethan. Good to see you, Marie. And Chris is already asking questions over here, Ethan. He says,
Yeah,
Ethan, is your homework done?
My homework is done as of until Tuesday, so I'm ahead.
He's ahead. He likes to be ahead. So, Ethan, I know that it's been a minute since you came on. We have some new listeners.
Yes.
Could you give us like a brief spark notes, if you will, keeping it college related, of how, tell us about you, how you got into reselling, all that good stuff. I know that, we kind of touched on that beforehand, but for the people that may not know, give us a little insight.
It's like the whole Jimmy Fallon thing where you have to reintroduce yourself no matter what, because there's always new people all the time. So I think the biggest synopsis is I only started this because of watching TikTok videos and scrolling down a feed of like a million videos a second, and American Arbitrage popped up on my phone. And you hear the plus shipping and you're like, what is that all about? And so I had to watch more of his videos and I was like, oh, this is interesting. And then I got down the rabbit hole of as soon as you like one video, you're now stuck in reselling things. So I saw his video first and then I saw you guys. You guys were second. And so I was like, there's an Amazon bin store right down the road. I'm just going to go do that and just see if I can do it. So I got there at 6 o'clock in the morning, like everybody suggested, got there. I think the first thing I picked up was like a juicer or something, and I flipped it for like $135 on eBay, and I was like, wow, like that wasn't hard. It was like $5 to $135. That's not terrible. And so I kept doing that. I made myself my own TikTok channel, and then come to find out I don't like doing TikTok anymore. But I have completely changed from doing Amazon bin store to I did clothing and then just everything that I could find in Goodwill to now I am 99% shoes. So it has changed drastically since the last time I was on, because I think in July was when I was starting to switch only from clothes to shoes. But now I'm there's probably 14 to 20-ish items that aren't shoes, and I'm trying to get them as fast as I can because I can't stand them looking at them anymore. So that is the synopsis. I am a changed niche seller now.
Oh, okay. And we'll get into the the whole pivoting process. How Ethan, it's you learn as you get through this. You learn to grow, and you know what you like to list and what you like to sell, because you're maybe some, shoes are easy, if you have that knowledge, all that good stuff. So we'll get into you pivoting for sure. So we have Danielle Knoll jumped on. He says, "Hey guys, first time watching y'all's live. I've been listening to the replay." Well, thank you so much, Danielle.
Let's go.
Glad that you can listen to us. And again, guys, if we also have the audio version on the podcast this week in Reselling. So if you're driving or if you're playing basketball or I don't know what else, rock climbing or, doing things that you don't have to watch it. What else would you be doing, Dustin, than rock climbing, right? You can always listen to kayaking. You can always listen to the audio version. Next time you're like at a really cool college party that Ethan's in, you can go up to the DJ and be like, "Yo, bro, why don't you drop that this weekend Reselling podcast real quick so we can all get hyped." So, yeah. So
bring
Chris
down
says,
the second floor.
Exactly. Did you see that video, Ethan?
No, what was it?
Where was what was that? Was it Arkansas, Dustin?
Something somewhere.
What happened?
It was like a frat party, and they were so hyped, like I guess on the second floor, and the floor like collapsed, and everyone went through.
That was before COVID, wasn't it? Or was that recent?
That was recent.
Recent, maybe like a couple weeks.
There was one in Clemson. That's like 30 minutes down the road. That was a frat party before COVID. It was my freshman year, and it collapsed, and it went through 2 floors.
Wow.
Sheesh.
And so
it happens more often than not, I guess.
Oh, I'm sure. Well, those houses are built like 100 years ago when the frat just started, so you can imagine it's a bit
fragile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, every time I think of like college parties, I just think of like the stickiness of the floor, just like random like frat like posters, like your Bob Marley, Scarface, kind of thing. Was that just me, Dustin, or is that like everyone?
No.
Let me know, the people in the chat. Is that like a common college thing?
Agree to that.
Right?
I have no experience of that. That's the crazy
really
thing.
Well,
I've never been to a party in college, but that makes me boring. But I don't have I can tell you things because I've seen online, and I have friends that are in frats. But where I go to school, it's not like a party school, so it's like a Christian college, and so we don't have that, which is nice because you don't have it's a dry college. But I mean, we have Clemson right up the road, so I get all of that experience from all my friends that go to Clemson.
Yeah.
Like, the Ragers, stuff like that.
The Ragers.
The Ragers.
The Ragers, baby. Chris says, Ethan, I've been meaning to ask you, do you even flip, bro? That's like I need a Chris, do you even flip, bro t-shirt?
Yep.
Yes.
Like yesterday. See, he's right on the ball. He says, I've been thinking about getting a Marley tapestry. I just think of like that poster of like Bob Marley, and like you zoom in and it's made up of like little pictures of Bob Marley, like the mosaic poster. So, here's a good question from That's Unique Tennessee. They say, what's your favorite brand / style of shoe to find?
Stylish shoes, just any athletic shoe that sells. I don't really have a favorite brand because Dalton and Drew were talking about it on their podcast, is like what makes your selling profitable is selling the bread and butter stuff and not the like super high end stuff. So if I had like a favorite brand, it would be like a basic, like a Nike, an Adidas, something like that. That's really basic that I flip a lot, rather than like ones that like Jordans where you only find 10 of them every month. So I don't know. I think my favorite shoe I've ever sold was the Jordan Red 4s that I sold like a month ago. They were like in the box for like $80 at a Plato's, and I flipped it. So that's probably my favorite shoe that I've found. I don't really have a favorite shoe.
Okay. Nice. No favorite brand, anything like that?
Not
Brooks,
really.
Asics.
I don't know.
Hoka.
I don't think I have like a favorite brand. I like a pair of shoes that like look cool, but other than that, I don't have like a favorite brand that are just like.
Gotcha. All right, nice. So Ethan, since you've been on, you were probably one of the first people that we've implemented this segment of the show called Overrated, Underrated. So it's back by popular demand. We wanted to bring it back. So what is your like thought, like your your memory of overrated, underrated from last time? Do you think you're going to do better, or you think you're going to have more opinions? Like, what are we thinking about here?
More knowledgeable opinions because I'm further into this process, but I was thrown off by like dinosaurs, overrated, underrated, and so I didn't know that was coming, and so maybe I'm more expectant of that this time.
Okay. Nice. Now, Chris has got a good question. He says, tell us about this transition to shoes. Where are you finding them? And we will get into that. This is kind of I guess they call it like a cliffhanger, if you will. Tonight on the 10 o'clock news, are you feeding your kids poison? Well, we will talk about this here later on in the podcast. So my wife tells me that I talk with my hands a lot. Have you noticed that, Dustin?
Well, now I'm going to notice it.
I'm trying not to do it.
You're going to be like,
yeah, but anyways, all right. So Ethan, overrated, underrated. Are you ready, my friend?
I'm ready.
All right. But before we get started, this segment of the show is brought to you by none other than our good friends over at poppingofftoys.com, your favorite place to get Funko Pops. Ethan, have you found any Funko Pops in the wild that you've resold recently?
It wasn't recent, but it was a while ago when I went to those Amazon bin stores. I kept one of them, but the box was destroyed. And so I just kept it just because it was a cool character. It was like a Victor Oladipo NBA player from when he was at the Pacers. So
okay, nice.
The older one, but it's not any of the cool ones.
Well, guys, if you ever want to order anything Funko related, go to poppingofftoys.com. They are a local vendor here in Nashville, and we do have a code for you guys. If you use the code Nashville Flippers, you're going to get 10% off. They have something really cool going on this weekend, March 27th. They have something called the Nashville Pop Swap, which is kind of a convention, if you will, of different vendors, and people are just coming together and buying and selling Funko Pops. I think we should go. What do you think, Dustin?
Sounds interesting.
Let's do it. Maybe we can find some nice Funko Pops to flip, and hopefully we don't spend a lot of money. So if you want to buy Funkos, go over to poppingofftoys.com, use the code Nashville Flippers, and you'll receive 10% off. Ethan, are you ready? Overrated, underrated, sir?
I am.
All right. Overrated, underrated number 1, Craigslist.
Oh, man. Underrated in that it's been so long that it's done so well, but it's overrated in the fact that people think that they can sell their grandfather's golf clubs
on Craigslist. Okay.
Because they won't ever sell. I saw a funny video, I guess it was Family Guy, of this like recreation of what Craigslist was just people just saying things, and the guy named Craig was writing down on a list. It was really funny. It's just a big old long list. But I think that it's underrated in the way that resellers can use it. I don't think enough people use it. I think people just rely on thrift stores and stuff, or like flea markets, instead of looking at it for garage sales and stuff like that. And depending on where you live, it can be good or it can be bad. But that's a great way to use list. But I feel that it can also be overrated because people value it too much for using it for certain things. So it's kind of, I don't know. Gary Vee does a middle one, but I think it's underrated, just slightly.
Slightly? Okay, nice.
Properly rated.
Properly rated. Okay. Gotcha. Nice. Marie is saying it's underrated, and we have Linda. She's saying hi. Good to see you, Linda of Mile High Hustlers. The reason why I put that on the list this week is because I actually ran into one of our friends that's a reseller. Dustin knows him at the post office. His name is Skip. We see him everywhere. Everywhere we go, he's there. Skip. But he's saying that he finds a lot of like what are those breathing machines that help you breathe, like
aspirators?
No, it's like, I don't know. Anyways,
like a sleep
PAPS machine, or I don't know, some sort of CPAP machines. So he can't, you can't sell them on eBay. You can't sell them on Facebook Marketplace. You can't sell anything like the hoses, the mask, CPAP machine. There we go. But he sells them on Craigslist, and he sells the fire out of them because they're considered medical supplies. So that's why I wanted to bring that up, because I guess people are still hustling on Craigslist,
Yeah, apparently.
So, yeah. All right. So overrated, underrated number 2.
Number 2, Cracker Barrel.
Overrated.
Overrated.
I grew up with it forever, and I know that my family's watching. But I have had it for so much that like it's one of those things where I like have so many fun memories of it, but I don't think the food's that good unless you go to like a certain one out in the country. It's
Okay.
just-
Overrated. Yeah, I agree. Dustin and I, like we were talking earlier, Ethan, we went to Cracker Barrel today, and it felt like a nightmare movie. What do you like? We waited how long to get seated, Dustin?
Felt like 2 hours.
And then once we got seated down, I don't know. It took another 2 hours. It was terrible. And then the food was just like, it's just like Cracker Barrel food, So it's like, I agree. What would you think, Dustin? Is overrated or underrated?
Overrated for sure. I'd rather go to the like hole in the wall breakfast places.
Oh yeah. 100%.
I agree. Nice. We have Bama Picking and Grinning joining us. Good to see you, buddy. Glad that you can jump on. Chris at Peak is saying Craigslist is legit older than Ethan. Tell me I'm wrong.
I'm 20, so that might be true. I don't know.
Might be older than me.
Cracker Barrel or
No.
wait, Craigslist. I'm still talking about awful Cracker Barrel. So
Craigslist
It might be though.
It's been around forever.
It has been around. We need a legit check. We need like a
get some good deals
on Craigslist. We need to look on some Craigslist. Maybe we'll do a video on like just buying things to resell on Craigslist or something like that.
Meeting up with Earl from Craigslist.
Right. Bring your pistol with you, So we have Danielle says that sometimes I find good squishmallows to flip at Cracker Barrel. So what was he? Five Below. That's when we saw the squishmallows today. That's right. We have Drake, the country picker. Good to see you, man. Glad that you can jump on. So next up, Ethan, overrated, underrated, number 3. Whatnot.
I think it's vastly underrated.
Okay.
I think that if you are selling in a certain niche, like toys, action figures, Funko Pops, especially, that's like the main thing that's on there. Vintage clothing is growing. I've applied. I have not gotten in yet, so if Whatnot sees this video, please accept me. Because I'd love to get rid of my like vintage clothing that I have away on that, because it gives like a broader market than just eBay. Because it's more niche of like all these people are looking for this stuff. But I think it's vastly underrated for people that sell that kind of stuff. I might struggle in there because I'm a shoe seller now. And so unless I had like a brand new pair or like a pair of Jordans that were rare, that were used, that people wanted them, I may struggle. But for people that sell like toys, like Carrie probably sold yesterday he had like 120 something auctions. I think he sold out of them. And makes quicker. I mean, it's fast money because you're not having to sit there on eBay to wait for a buyer. And they're just here and now and bidding. So depending on what you have, I think it's underrated. But I think for certain people, it might be overrated because it's not their niche yet. But it could get there.
That's nice. See, I know it's like two sides of this coin. I keep hearing these two things, right, Ethan? Like you were describing. It's a good way if you're like niche down. Sports cards, I guess you would be like more collectible based items that you would sell. And then I hear the other side of where resellers are just like offloading all their death piles on there. So it's like you're not really getting the cream of the crop because, depending on what it is, so it's like hopefully, it doesn't go more towards the death pile situation. So it continues to grow. And it just doesn't die because people are like, well, I bought this for whatever, and it's a bunch of junk. But I don't know. I haven't applied. I don't think Dustin's applied either.
No.
So we're still. I don't even have the app downloaded on my phone. I haven't seen an auction or anything like that. So I think I want to do some more research on that. So have you purchased anything off of Whatnot?
I'm gonna share it, but I bought this off of Whatnot. So. It's the Walt Disney World Epcot Center. It's from the 80s. I bought it from Drew or Profit Monsters on Instagram. And he was having a vintage stuff, and I've kind of I don't like selling vintage clothing all that much, but I love buying it.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's kind of trendy thing to do now. I also love Disney, as you can tell by the stitch right here. So I thought this shirt was super cool, but I was on auctions originally, or I was on Whatnot originally, just to see what the platform was like, just to see if I could apply and potentially sell shoes that were like the random Jordans that have been sitting for a while, and the vintage clothing that I have, and just kind of mix it. But I bought another shirt that's gonna come in a few days from Whatnot. I think it's great for the one-off purchases, but I've seen people buy, because what they do is that if you purchase several times from the same person, they'll give you a shipping discount. So it's only $1 more for shipping, instead of charging you $5 or whatever. So this shirt cost me $45, but it's probably worth upwards of 60 or 70. So you can definitely get it for sourcing as well. Like Chris was saying, you might be able to snag stuff for good deals and just flip it on eBay or stuff like that. Yeah. But
nice.
I typically do it just to get clothing stuff for me to wear.
Good deals. Okay. Nice. Again, Chris is saying, I actually think Whatnot is a good sourcing opportunity. I've purchased things and flipped them. So yeah, that's actually a great idea. I'm sure video games is a big niche there. Niche. How do you say it? Niche.
Close enough.
Lilo and Stitch. I don't know. Marie's okay. Here we go. We got her fact checker, Marie.
Yeah.
She says Craigslist launched in 1995. It's 26 years old. So
it's got me about 6 years.
Oh,
I am older than Craigslist.
There you go. Now you know. Next time you're on Jeopardy,
I know.
What year has Craigslist?
1995.
What is 1995? All right.
I think we're older than eBay too, Ray. So just
Are we? Is it 92? 90? I don't know. 99? I don't know. Let me know, guys. Marie, could you fact check me, please? When did eBay get started? All right. Next one up. Overrated, underrated, number 4. Ethan.
Number 4, conspiracy theories.
Overrated. Most of the time, they're not true. That's all I'm gonna say on that. Okay. I think that's a conspiracy theory in itself. So
what? That conspiracy theories are true or not true?
I think that people believe in them too much.
Mm.
That regardless if they're true or not, most of the time their stuff it's already finished, so it's not like you can do anything about it. But if there's active stuff, maybe you can do something about it. But if it's something from 100 years ago, it's not like it's going to change whether you know if it is or not. So I might be in the minority in that, but I think it's overrated. I think people focus on
what is the conspiracy theory, Ethan, that you think is completely so bad that anybody can actually think that it's real?
Reselling is evil.
Oh, well, besides the legit, we're talking about flat Earth, gone to the moon. What's another one? I don't know. The
Berenstain Bears.
Berenstain Bear. The Mandela effect. Yeah, there you go. Birds not thinking they're real.
Birds aren't real. I fully believe that.
So you think that birds aren't real?
Well, there's no way that they fly in the way that some birds are real, but there are no way that some of those birds do not fly in coordinated ways like they do and then just divert all of a sudden.
So you think there's amongst thousands of birds, there might be 100 of them that are
absolutely.
So what are these birds? What are they like?
I think they're the common birds. I don't think they're the special ones. I think they're the common ones. I think they're the crows and the pigeons and stuff like that, and they're used as cameras and spies for the government. So again, I think they're overrated, but I believe that.
Okay, there you go, guys. Let us know, guys, in the comments what your favorite conspiracy theory is. We have our boy, Little Flipper, Michael Ray. Come say hello, Michael.
I'll say hey, buddy.
Oh, hi. Hey, buddy.
You going to bed, Michael?
Come on, bud.
Yeah. I go to bed. Say bye.
Bye.
See you, bud.
No, I have
Oh, he's rowdy. He's being rowdy today. So, all right. Marie saying eBay launched in September 3rd of 1995. I love it. I love the the check here. Okay. Nate, how do you say that? Naderade. The term conspiracy
Nader.
theory and its definition, it's its own conspiracy theory. So nice. I like that. So there you go. Birds Aren't Real by Ethan.
There you go.
There you go. You need a bird, you need like a t-shirt.
Yeah. There's probably a billion of them. The birds aren't real or something like that.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna try
yeah,
to catch birds. Test them out.
There you go. What's your favorite conspiracy theory, Dustin? Let us know what everybody in the chat. What's everyone's favorite conspiracy theory?
I don't even know. I don't look into much stuff like that.
Yeah. The
Nobody
Mandela
does.
effect.
Yeah.
That's
Maybe
the
something like
Bernstein.
Yeah.
There you go. All right. All right. Let's move on. Overrated, underrated, number 5. Negotiating at yard sales, Ethan.
Underrated if done correctly. Overrated if overbearing. I think that if they have a price set and they say that it's set and you keep trying to fight it, then that in itself is wrong. Because if they don't want to move, that's their decision. But I flip it a little bit towards flea markets because I go to flea markets way more than I do yard sales. They're there to sell.
Mm-hmm.
If you make them a deal, then they'll find it. So I think it's underrated to negotiate, but I think it comes to a point where they're like, we're not going any farther, then you either walk away. There's several tactics that you can do, which helps because this is what my degree is about negotiating and marketing and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I have probably 12 tactics I use when I'm at the flea market. That doesn't overgo lines.
Okay.
But I've probably walked away from booths and gotten 10 to 12 deals just because I walked away because they'll come down to where my price is or they'll even go below my price just because they're desperate to sell. That's why they have those sales.
Okay. So give us you said you had 12 tactics. That's very specific. So give us your top 3.
Top 3. Bundling.
Okay.
In terms of reselling negotiating.
Yeah.
So bundling, getting more than one stuff, it'll help decrease the price. 2 is the walk away tactic. That's probably used by every single reseller ever. Just like, I hate this price, I'm gonna walk away, and then somebody yell at you and bring you back. And then the 3rd one is just being completely quiet the entire time. And they keep trying to tell you, like for me, they'll tell me like the size, the brand, the stuff like that, and I'll just sit there and just nod my head. And then they'll like tell me prices, and I'll just keep being quiet. Then they'll just lower their prices until I'm just like, no, okay, I'll take it for that price.
So do you give them any kind of like body language, like you make a face or talking, you're like, like kind of seem uninterested or like
it just depends
kind of like
it literally depends on the booth at the flea market. So like some of the people that are at the flea market for me, like I'm friends with them in terms of like I've made a connection with them, so I'm kind to them and I don't do the silent treatment on people that I don't know.
Yeah.
But like I'll talk to them and just be interactive, but I'll mostly do bundles with the people that I know. Just because I know they'll give me a better price that way. But if I don't know them, then I'll be silent and just I'll be smiling and stuff. Like I won't be like mean or anything, but I'll just I won't say anything. And then if it comes to a point where they ask stuff, then I'm not just gonna ignore them. But my body language is just upright, just looking at everything, like picking stuff up, putting stuff down. That's another one. It's just picking stuff up and just like seeing what people's reaction is. Like I'll look up, see what their face is, because then they're thinking in their head how much they're wanting for it. And if I put it back down, then they're immediately thinking, oh crap, he's not going to buy it. So that is another one. So there's so many that you can do at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
There's not one that I can those are the top 3, but like they intertwine, if that makes sense.
I like it. You should make a YouTube video or something about it. I think that would be great.
I've been meaning to start YouTube.
Yeah, if you don't have time, you don't need to do it.
It's a long journey.
Yeah,
do it. It might be after school, but I haven't thought about it.
Nice. I like that. So, Dustin, you were talking about this last time. I think. What's that tactic to where someone says the price and you give a little?
You just just give that little. I don't know. Just that face, the cringe face. And just like,
see if they budge.
You make them say the price first. Yeah. You don't want to ever shoot out your own price.
Yeah,
that's a struggle. And
then go from there. Yeah, will you do like 200?
Sometimes that can backfire though, which is a good instance. Dustin, I don't know if you remember this when we went to the Nashville flea market and we found that StarCraft 64 video game, and I asked the guy how much he wanted for it, and instead of just saying a price, because I'm thinking in my head, okay, this is like a $200 video game, he just has it out. I'm thinking maybe like 30 at the most. He goes and looks it up and sees how much the sold comps were, and he's like, oh no, this is $200, and he puts it like in a glass case or something like that. You remember? Do you not remember that?
I don't. Maybe I might have been zoned out looking at other stuff.
Yeah, that's probably what happened. So, yeah, it's rough. So it sounds like you have some great negotiating skills, Ethan. I think you need to share it with the world at least.
Oh, I gotta share a little bit of secret. I gotta keep some for myself.
Okay, I see you. All right, we have our boy Alan. He says flea markets not that great here. Oh, they're hit or miss. You know, it depends on which one you go to for sure, Alan. We have our boy Glenn, the Swamp Picker. Good to see you, Glenn. Glad that you can jump on. So let's move on. Overrated, underrated, number 6.
Number 6, Lionel Messi.
He is one of 2 GOATs, so he is vastly properly rated.
Okay.
He's not underrated. Everybody knows how good he is. He's not overrated for sure. I prefer Cristiano Ronaldo over Messi. I grew up idolizing him as a soccer player, so for me, I think they're both properly rated. But for Messi, he's properly rated.
What about the argument that everyone has of them not winning a World Cup?
They've both won their own individual international cups. So World Cup's hard to win. It takes it takes a country. You can't win it with one individual player. So in the World Cups, every single not every single nation, but the best nations from the best continents. And so it's a very challenging one to win. But this is the last World Cup for both of them. So we'll see.
See what happens.
We'll see what happens. It'll be interesting.
Yeah. Now I've heard, Ethan, that they're changing it from 4 years to 2 years. Is that correct?
They're contemplating it, but I don't think it's going to get through. They don't have with the way the other international tournaments go. They're every 4 or 2, and so they interlock. So every 2 years there is a tournament. But the problem with there being a tournament every 2 years, if you put the World Cup in it, then they're playing 2 years, and they still have to play for their clubs as well. So I don't think it's going to happen. There's been rumors of it, but you can't cancel international tournaments. That's too important. There's too much history. Yeah,
there's so much history in that, for sure. We have our boy Matt, Thrifter Sifter. He says, "What's good, everyone? Good to see you, Matt." All right, so let's move on. Overrated, underrated, number 7. Yard sales.
Underrated if you are in a everything niche. Overrated if you're like me.
Okay.
Because unless you see a picture of a yard sale that has shoes out or have shoes in like a bin or whatever before they put it out, then I'd go. But for me, they're overrated because 9 times out of 10, they're not selling shoes at a yard sale. They're selling their old
junky shoes.
Like that. And the shoes that are like women's flip-flops that are from Walmart and stuff like that. So for me, it's overrated. But for you guys that sell everything, basically, I'm sure it's great.
Okay. Nice. Ethan, you want those Faded Glory flip-flops from
Absolutely.
Walmart.
Those are my favorite.
With the feet stains, like they're like implanted on the foam of the shoes.
My favorite.
You want those. All right, let's move on. Overrated, underrated number 8.
Scooby-Doo.
Oh no, I'm the worst at this. I didn't grow up watching these shows. So
Scooby-Doo?
I probably have watched 2 movies. So I would say underrated, that it's probably top 10 children's show ever. And people can debate me on that, but I feel like it's up there with like the upper echelons. I feel like it's underrated in terms of just like it's nostalgia for kids my age and a little bit older. But
okay.
I apologize.
That's the creators of Scooby-Doo calling.
They're frustrated at me.
What kind of cartoons did you grow up with, Ethan?
I watched the original like Batman ones, the Batman and Supermans. There's like the Justice League ones.
Uh-huh.
I'm trying to think of like the actual shows. I watched a lot of like I think from like childhood. I'm like thinking like Blue's Clues kind of.
Yeah.
So like
Everyone watched Blue's Clues. Yeah.
So like Blue's Clues, my parents gave me a Blue's Clues room.
Whoa.
So I had
okay.
it was all decked out and all the things. Trying to think of the other ones. Cartoons. Probably Batman was the one that I can remember a lot. But I watched more like soccer than anything.
Okay.
Like I had at that again. This is 15 years ago. Everything was on CDs. It wasn't on like YouTube and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So we probably had 20 to 30 CDs that I would just rewatch, and then I'd go outside and replicate that. So or
nice.
try to. So I didn't watch a ton of cartoons, but I think Batman was probably the one.
Shout out to Batman. Have you seen the new Batman movie?
No,
Not
yet.
Dustin, you haven't seen it either, have you?
No.
I want to see it so bad.
I saw it. I'm not gonna say like if I liked it or not because I don't want to sway people a certain direction. So
I've heard it's very good.
I think you'll like it. You'll
Okay.
like it. So you'll like it. Everyone will like it. So last one up. Ethan, are you ready for the last one here?
I'm ready for the last one.
You got one more after that.
Do we? Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah. Amazon bins. Overrated, underrated.
Underrated in terms of where you're at, where you guys are at. I think you guys have the best Amazon bin store in the country.
Well, we know how to shop for them.
That's very true.
You know, it's not like everyone says, you know, it's like, oh, mine suck. You know, what?
You always find all the good stuff. Blah, blah, blah.
It's like, yeah, we've been doing it for 4 years now.
Yeah.
You know, we better be finding all the good stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
But
so.
But
I
there's times we don't.
still think you guys have the best one. So everybody go to theirs and go take it. Just kidding.
Hey, come on.
And you know, it may be more or less that Amazon's right down the road from us.
That is true.
Literally right out in Lebanon. So it's
for sure.
we get all the stuff, basically.
Yeah, that is true. So you don't shop at those stores anymore, right? Ethan?
No, I'll go there. Like I got this there.
What is it? What is that? Like a little?
Is
that a Bob Marley tapestry?
Basically, it's a rapper. It's a rapper that I enjoy listening to. It's A$AP Rocky.
A$AP Rocky.
A$AP Rocky.
I didn't know it looked like a Kid Cudi kind of vibe.
Well, I love Kid Cudi too.
Yeah.
I love both of them, but I couldn't find a Kid Cudi one. Otherwise, I'd have him up here instead of A$AP Rocky. But
okay.
I like it.
That's cool. Yeah, for sure. All right. Let's see here. Marie is saying we had Saturday morning cartoons on the 4 channels that we got. That's crazy.
Man, I remember waking up Saturday mornings watching Recess on Channel 2.
Oh.
And then watching old Rocket Power.
Love it. Love it. Justin is saying, I'm 47 and watched Scooby-Doo as a kid. As an adult, I dislike Blue's Clues. I mean, that makes sense, you know, because it's meant for kids. So last one up, Ethan, overrated, underrated.
Number 10, Gollum from Lord of the Rings.
Oh, is this
impressions?
Oh no! He is one of my favorite characters of all time. I feel like his storyline just is everything. Again, it probably was described in 12 pages in the actual book, but I think he's underrated. I think that his character progression.
But what about impressions of
an impression
Gollum?
of it? You have to be good at it, and I'm not good at it.
Well, the reason I put that down because in Matt's Thrifter Sifters podcast, Ethan gave a great impression of Gollum. We won't put him on the spot, but if maybe later,
maybe
later on. But if you guys want to hear that, part three, we're just going to interview Ethan as Gollum, the whole thing.
That would be actually fantastic.
So the whole thing. So there you go, guys. That concludes our segment of the show. Overrated, underrated, brought to you by poppingofftoys.com. Use the code Nashville Flippers and you'll get 10% off. All right. So we got a new segment on the show. It's called Dustin's Tip of the Week. So Dustin's Tip of the Week is actually brought to you by our new sponsor of the podcast.
There's a new one.
There's a new one. The fine people over at stickerwise.com. If you guys want to order some stickers, you can use the code flippers and you'll get 15% off, which is a great deal. So go to stickerwise.com. They might have the best prices on stickers. And then if you use the code flippers, you're going to get 10% off. So I think I need an Ethan college reseller sticker.
I would love an Ethan college reseller sticker.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So what happens when you get out of college, though? What are you going to rebrand?
That's what everybody's
Like the
been saying.
businessman reseller.
Well, the thing is, Ethan, one of the things that you brought up on our last podcast is that you're working on the rebranding. So let's just go ahead and get into it before we get into Dustin's tip of the week.
Yeah.
What are we thinking here? Were we thinking like, I don't know. I would leave it.
I'm thinking about leaving it. However,
the Shoe King reseller.
I think that's. I think the thing that I've kind of, and I did it earlier this week. If you follow me on Instagram, I changed my bio picture.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm no longer the TikTok whatever thing that it made for me that anymore. And it just is me holding a size 18 Kobe. That is massive. But I think the thing that I was like most worried about of like going out of college, and I was thinking, oh, I'm just going to do this TikTok thing, and if it blows up, it blows up. And now I don't do it anymore. I have branded my eBay as TCR_goods. Soon to be changed probably to TCR_shoes, just because I don't sell goods anymore other than shoes. So I think that it's just going to be TCR, but it's just going to be the college reseller. Just because everybody knows, like, whenever somebody's, like, I've heard people talk about me on their podcast or their lives or something like that, they always refer to me as, oh, that's the college kid or the college reseller kid. Like, it's never really Ethan, which is, I don't mind, but now I'm trying to, like, phase it of, like, this is who I am. I'm Ethan, who is or was a college reseller. I'm still college aged, so that I kind of get away with that aspect of it. But I don't think it really matters because there's a guy that's like the college picker or something like that who's like 34, 35. So
he goes to community college.
And he can go to college any age, he's like thinking about it.
Big deal, isn't he? I think he was like a massive
I don't know.
YouTuber like a long time ago. I don't know if he does stuff anymore, but he was like a big deal for a while.
Okay. I think you should keep it. And then if anybody ever asks you, why are you the college reseller, you can kind of give that history of like how you started, you know, like, I don't know. It's like a good conversation piece almost.
Yeah, I guess so.
You know, all your branding and all your t-shirts could be like collegiate lettering or something, you know, like something like that. TCR University or I don't know.
Something. We'll make something.
Yeah. I like that. So we got our boy, the Land Shark Picker, stopping in and saying hello. Good to see you, Land Shark. Glad that you're here. All right. So Nate is saying, oh, we all came for Dustin's tip. So, all right, D-Man, what you got for us?
Simple one. Always check the sold comps. Always. Because I was in Goodwill last week. I got excited. I saw this commercial, mixer for milkshakes.
Oh, that's right.
Looked it up. It was like $900 brand new. Brand new. It was used. I was like, maybe I could sell it. Looked it up. Only one sold used for $100. I had no profit in that because it was $1, $50 at Goodwill, and two, it would probably cost me $50 to ship because it's so heavy. So always check the sold comps.
Nice. Well, there you have it, guys. That is Dustin's tip of the week, presented to you by stickerwise.com. If you guys want to order some stickers, go to stickerwise.com and use the code FLIPPERS and you'll get 15% off. So, Ethan, last time you were here, we added a new segment on the show. It's called Skip or Flip. We're going to show you 3 different pictures. We're not going to give you any information, just the pictures, and you're going to let us know if you would find these at the Goodwill, at the flea market, at the garage sale. Would you skip it, or would you flip it? All right, are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
All right. Let us know, everybody in the chat. Please play along and let us know if you would skip or flip these items. So the first one up here, Ethan. And Dustin hasn't seen these either, so Dustin can also play.
I'm always wrong too.
All right. So we have here a Jurassic World Camp Creations Velociraptor. This is blue from Jurassic World. It's brand new with the tags on it. There you go. It looks really nice and crispy. It's like a mask. The mouth opens, all that good stuff. So what are you thinking here, Ethan? What's your thought process?
I have a weird feeling that we talked about this last time.
Oh, we talked about this last time.
I would personally skip it. I love the picture on the staircase, as that is like their mantra, and I think that that's where it deserves to be, on the staircase and being stepped all over.
Oh, look at this guy.
But I don't know. I think that I would skip it.
You would skip it?
Yes.
All right. What about you, Dustin?
I'm definitely flipping because I've sold one of these before.
And you sold it without the tags, right?
Sold it without the tags, but it was new.
How much did you sell it with without the tags?
I can't remember, maybe $30-$40.
Oh,
Okay.
Boy.
Yeah.
So let us know.
Gimme.
Yeah, let us know, guys, in the chat. What were you doing? Let's see here.
I want to start taking pictures, like just at random spots in my house, just of everything. It'd be great.
Like in the stairs. This
The
guy is
stairs.
definitely not using photo room. Unique Tennessee is saying flip. Marie is saying flip. Alan is saying flip, and Landshark is saying wow. Okay, so
Wow.
So Ethan, I know the reason why I brought I put this picture up, and Dustin, I don't know if you remember, but the whole furry conversation that we had last time.
Yeah. I love that.
So and this is the reason. This is the reason. Let me show you what the sold comps were. Ethan, so you say you're skipping,
Yes.
but what would be the comfortable price range that you would pay for this?
$5 or less.
5 or less. What about you, D-Man?
For sure, 5 or less, because that's what I got it for.
Okay. All right, guys. So this puppy sold for $74.95, and this guy's actually sold 7 of them.
Dang. Where is he getting all these?
Probably Walmart. I don't know. You know, something like that.
Dang.
Oh, look, Dustin.
What?
You can't see that. It says shipped from Murfreesboro, Tennessee.
Oh, we need to hit that guy up. Hey, where are you getting these, man?
Right? So, if you don't know, Ethan knows, but a lot of the people that purchase these masks, they're not buying them for their kids. They're actually dressing up as dinosaurs. Their own little, what would you describe it as, Ethan?
Their own fantasy world.
Fantasy world parties.
That's a great way to describe this. So, furries.
Yes.
Just Google it.
Don't spend too long.
Don't. Yeah, it's
You're going to a big old wormhole.
The wormhole for sure. So there you go. So that's the first one. So let's see what we got here. This is a good one right here, guys. Skip or flip, Ethan. Let me know, Dustin, what you're thinking here. This is a Panasonic IC recorder. It says on there. It looks like there's some sort of Asian writing on both the buttons. That it looks pretty new. You know, the tops, you know, there's some sort of Chinese or Japanese, maybe some Cantonese. I'm not too sure what the language is. It looks pretty crispy. What are you thinking, Ethan? Are you skipping or are you flipping?
So is it cheating that I know where this is from?
There's a reason why I put it on here.
Okay.
Mhm.
So
So I would absolutely look it up.
okay.
Now, would I see it immediately and think it's the price that you're going to show it is? No. But I would absolutely flip it if it's, again, under $10 to $20. If I looked it up, then I'd pay upwards of, again, I will explain how much I will pay once the price comes up. But the guy who found this is a very lucky man. Let's just put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
And I know how many they found. So
How many did they find, Dustin? So you're
2.
you're aware of this too, right, Dustin?
yeah, I sent you the picture.
Oh, you did. You're the one that sent me the picture.
I
That's
said
right.
this would be great for the.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
So
So there
I
you
know what
go.
I would do, and I know how much I would pay for it, especially knowing how much it goes for.
Well, there you go, guys. Everyone seems to know what this thing is, and they didn't find just one. I think they found two. Is that right? Like
They
the
found
brothers?
two.
Yeah,
It was one of the brothers reached for it, and then the other brother reached over him and grabbed the other one. So it's funny.
Crazy. So
crazy.
there you go, guys. This guy is actually sold for $3,000. It is a Panasonic IC recorder. Apparently, it's to record ghost, right?
Yep.
It's like a
That's
ghost
it.
recorder.
Mm-hmm. That's crazy.
I looked into this a little bit, guys, and one of the reasons why it's sold for this much is because they actually use the new eBay video option when you list, the video, the short video that you can put on your second picture, and it shows them. I think this could be the one. Well, maybe this isn't it, but it shows it working. So that was one of the reasons, what is IC? That's a great question. I don't know what IC recorder means. Do you know what that means, Ethan?
Nope.
No clue.
Yeah, I don't know. It used to people use it to record ghosts and go ghost hunting. So from Japan. So there you go, guys. So next time you see one of these voice recorders with some Japanese writing on it, I would definitely pick it up. I don't know what the IC means. It could be a Japanese thing. I don't know. Ice cold, Craig. It means ice cold. Ice cold. Ice cold. So what do you think? Well, so what would be the most? Would you spend $1,000? I don't know how much did what was the purchase price?
Like $2 or something. I
What
think.
A profit. What a profit.
Dustin, how much would you pay for it?
Knowing how much they go for, probably $1,500. Knowing how much it goes for.
I mean, it'd have to be like
Or if I didn't know.
Yeah, if I didn't know, probably 100.
Yeah,
I'd say 100 if I didn't know, and I knew that it was like a Panasonic recorder, but I didn't know it was that much. Like if I was just doing like one of the the stupid challenges where you can't use eBay.
Yeah.
If I saw Panasonic recorder, maybe 100, but it would have to be very specific because there are other recorders that are like 20.
That's what makes it tough. If I didn't know, probably no more than 20.
Yeah.
If I couldn't use eBay, couldn't look up comps or anything like that, probably 20.
I think it just depends on what your limits are.
Mm.
Now, would you be willing to spend $1,500 on it, double up?
Yeah,
that's tough. For me, it's tough.
I would say 1,000. I'd triple. I don't think I'd double.
Okay.
Not for that much.
Okay. Yeah. That's a good call. I still don't know. I Googled IC recorder, and I think this is what I got. It says here, I don't know if you can see it. It says IC recorder is a digital video recorder software application capable of overlaying text onto video as it is recording.
Huh.
So I don't know if that's actually what it means, but that's what I Googled. So we'll see if that's actually what it means. So next time you guys are out and you see one of these recorders, man, it would be nuts. Could you imagine? Oh,
crazy.
Imagine. What's the most expensive thing you've ever flipped, Ethan?
I sold a pair of shoes for $300.
Okay.
That's recent. That's as of this year. Pair of Jordans.
Okay.
But I think there was probably something that I sold for. Oh, I sold that LaMelo Ball card that I talked about in July for like $500 when he had just come out as a rookie. That went to Thailand, which was crazy. It wasn't even in the States. Somebody from Thailand bought it.
That's awesome.
Crazy.
The cards
I remember we talked about that.
Yeah.
$200 now. So
nice.
Made that profit at the right time.
Let's go.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Next one up. Ethan, flipper skip, my friend. Here we have a PlayStation 2 game. It is called Rule of Rose for the PlayStation 2. It is rated M for mature. It is published by a video game company named Atlas.
Okay.
They make great games. They make the Bayonetta games, a couple of really good games. And it looks to be complete. The disc, the manual, There's the disc. It doesn't look like it's in great shape. What do you think, Dustin?
Some light scratches.
Light
so
scratches.
Good condition.
Good condition. Okay. Okay. So what are you thinking, Ethan? What is your thought process? Let me know, guys, in the chat. Are you skipping or are you flipping this PlayStation 2 video game? Now, PlayStation 2 video games, you see them a lot. So what are you thinking?
I'm going with Dustin's tip of the week and looking up sold comps before I even think about it.
Okay.
But I think in terms of this kind of a thing, when I look at like games, like when I'm checking out and stuff, because most of the Goodwills, they have the like DVDs like on the way to checkout, which is kind of interesting. So it kind of gets you like your last thing. They'll have stuff like this. And I think the thing that I see, the first thing is that M for mature, there's not a ton of games that are M for mature. And if there are, most of the time they're like horror games or scary games, which I'm sure that this game is sort of like, that do sell for good money. Now, this particular one with the condition that it's in, I think it's a testy one. So it kind of depends on how much you're paying for it, that kind of thing. So I would flip it depending on comps, obviously. But I would skip it if the condition of the CD if it looks as bad as it is or worse, then probably not.
Okay. So you flipping or you skipping?
This one in particular, I'd flip if it was under $5.
Under $5. Okay. What are you thinking, D-Man?
I've picked up random games kind of like this before, obviously with that Spirits and Spells. I definitely pick it up or check it out and then probably play 10 or less.
10 or less?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Seems like Ellen is saying flip and that Unique Tennessee is saying flip. So let's how much you think this sells for, Ethan?
I don't know. I think this is going to be one of those throw ones that's going to sell for like $20. But
$20?
I think that it also could be a $6,000 game.
Okay.
PlayStation games are so weird where it could be crazy.
Now we've had two really good things that I've showed you so far. Could this be?
That's the worry. Like this could be the bad one.
What about you, D-Man? What are you thinking? How much do you think this is selling for?
I think go for 200 plus.
200 plus.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So why are you thinking that? What's that thought process?
Just one of those never seen the game before. One of those rare games.
How do you know it's rare?
I've never seen it in the wild. It's like that Spirits and Spells game from GameCube. Never seen it before. Sold it for 200.
Okay. All right. So what do you feel comfortable buying it? If you think it's over 200 plus, would you be willing to spend $100 on it?
No, 20.
20. Okay. Dustin's cheap. All right. So let's see what it sold for. It sold for $700.
I was right on the 200 plus.
Wow.
I spent 200 on it.
Dustin. So there you go, guys.
Crazy.
The Rule of Rose Rare US complete in box. It's complete. It's complete. Sold for $700. Like Dustin was saying, he hit it right on the head. It's rare. Ethan was saying that it's M for mature. You don't see a lot of those M for mature. And horror games sell really well, especially those niche little Japanese horror games. So anything, if you see any kind of horror video game, I would definitely at least take a second look at it. Next time you're at the yard sale, thrift store, or whatever. So,
yeah, and what sold it for him was they put rare in the listing.
Apparently,
you need to do that for anything. I'm gonna start doing that on all my listings.
But what if it's not rare, Dustin?
Well, it's gonna have to be.
This phone, rare.
Rare.
Because it's the one I have, so it's rare.
Yeah, yep. Right. It's rare to me.
It's rare to me.
It's rare to me. So there you go, guys. That is skip or flip for this week's show. What do you think about that, Ethan?
I think like the way that the process of your mind just so depends on what you're comfortable with skip or flip. Because I've watched your guys' several ones with there's vintage stuff and then there's other stuff, but I feel like it's totally up to like the beholder of like if you get that IC recorder, like Dustin and I are willing to do different prices. Like he's willing to double up, but I probably wouldn't double up. I'd probably triple.
Mhm.
I'd be comfortable with tripling, but you also pay $2 for the IC recorder. So
Yeah.
I think the thing is just you sometimes get lucky with that kind of stuff, and then sometimes it's like if your phone dies or something, and you're like, oh, this looks interesting, and then it's just like you buy it for $20 and it sells for $10, then you're like, well,
Yeah, that's what
return
it
to
is.
Goodwill. Yeah, 14
Could you
days.
imagine, like you see all these older resellers on here, you like the Craigslist Hunter and like all these other people that are on YouTube, that it's like they've been picking even before they had, the app or anything like that. So it's like
The
all
old
they're
heads.
like trusting their noggin the whole time.
yeah, that's crazy.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
It's
Absolutely.
like that
nuts.
new show on got Netflix. Swap Shop. Stuff like that. Just listen to the stuff on the radio, on that radio station.
Oh yeah.
For people to buy and sell.
Yeah. Have you watched that show, Ethan? Swap Shop on Netflix?
Heard of it.
Sure, check it out.
It's pretty good. It's fun. It's good little like, like how American Pickers, they follow like the two guys. This is like they follow like multiple. It's like they take turns and they follow like multiple people.
We should make a Netflix show of all the resellers that are on YouTube and stuff like that.
Hey,
I've thought about this, Ethan. All right, stay with me here. You too, Dustin.
Right.
Stay with me.
You know how like these creators have these like content houses?
Reseller content.
Reseller content house. We call it like the flip house. We can have all of our favorite resellers under one roof.
How many storage buildings we have in the backyard?
Oh man, it would be great.
You should live in a giant barn.
Exactly. Yeah. There would be IKEA bags like everywhere.
Just closet. Who took my IKEA bag?
Who took my IKEA bag? That's my IKEA bag. So I love it. Danielle saying that I binged that show in 2 days. LOL. It makes you want to source. I know.
Yeah.
It's tough for sure. We have Shay, the MD Picker, stop by. Good to see you, Shay.
What's up?
Glad that you can stop by. So, all right, guys. So that concludes Skip or Flip. And if you guys want to support us, support Dustin and I, support the podcast, support the YouTube channel.
Buy me a hoodie.
Buy Dustin. You can buy stuff for yourself. Shay, MD Picker, she bought herself a really nice. I don't even know which. She bought her hoodie off of here. So if you guys want to support Dustin and I, the best way to support is go over to a merch store and buy some nice merch. And we do have a new t-shirt dropping at the end of the month. So be prepared for that, guys. It's a good one. So I don't think I've showed you the design or not, Dustin. Have I showed you the new design?
No, you haven't.
I'll show you after the podcast, and I'll show Ethan as well.
Oh boy. Sneak peek exclusive.
Sneak peek exclusive. Maybe next week we'll give all of our listeners a sneak peek exclusive.
Ooh.
So, guys, speaking of sneak peek exclusives, make sure you follow Ethan on all those social media platforms. They're linked down in the description below. YouTube, Instagram mainly now, right, Ethan?
Yeah, there's no TikTok anymore. You're welcome to follow me there, but there's I have videos posted, but it's not actually on there.
Okay. So what happened with that, Ethan? Could you tell us a little bit about it?
So I didn't like the way that I was having to make. So my thing was I was making content in the beginning, and I was enjoying it for the sake of making content. And then I got so wrapped around the fact that I hit some stupid amount of views. It was probably like 10,000 views. And for me, that was great. And I had like 1,000 followers, and it was wonderful. But I was too obsessed with the view count, and I wasn't obsessed with the content that I was putting out. And the content was burning me out of the reselling aspect of it because I was more concerned about putting out content than I was working my business. So I was telling Matt in his podcast, I was just like, I just got tired of creating like a stigma of like, oh, I'm doing this and this is like my best work, but I'm still selling other stuff that like I'm enjoying more. But the one stuff that I'm posting about gets more views because it's popular. Like it was like a Peyton Manning shirt when he retired, or like he made the Hall of Fame, and it got like 15,000 views, but like I sold it for like $20, and I wasn't happy about it, but it got views, and so I just got tired of it. And I enjoy Instagram more because I get to connect with more people, because I feel like I probably talk to like my Instagram account. The last 2 weeks have grown like crazy. I've gained like 300 followers. I just hit 1,000 followers on Instagram.
Awesome.
For Instagram.
Congrats.
That's
Yeah, man.
pretty good. So
Yeah.
I connect with a ton of people now, especially with the shoe thing. It's really good to have like community. Like my two really good friends is the Hidden Isle and Tokyo Thrifts. So go follow those guys.
Okay.
Thrifts. I love that name.
I like that.
So-
Yeah, that name is cool.
They are like my age, around my age. Tino, who is the Hidden Isle, is 21. He's out of college. He's a year out of college. And Drew's like 25. And so they're just like right around my age. And we all sell shoes and stuff. And so it's really good to connect with that kind of stuff. But I never had that on, like, other than you guys and like talking with you guys and Carrie and stuff like that. I didn't have that like connection piece with TikTok. And I like reselling is so lonely sometimes because you're just doing it yourself unless you have employees and stuff like that. And so I just like the connection piece more of Instagram. And so I might go back to TikTok, but because of college and everything, it's a distraction just as much as it is.
That makes sense.
They're endlessly scrolling for hours. And
Oh,
I'm like,
yeah.
like Chris
You
Peak
gotta-
says, I have to do my homework. So
Yeah. That's smart that you know that you at least you had to delete it or just not focus as much to it, because it could be a distraction, when
Absolutely.
you're just focused on the numbers, what do they call it? The vanity metrics, if you will.
the metrics of it rather than like the actual content and the quality of it.
And Gary Vee says this perfectly. Whenever you're making content, it's always good to document what you're doing than just making content that has nothing to do with what you're doing.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So it's like you're already doing it. You might as well just film you doing it, So it's like a lot easier. So, but you talk about switching things up, Ethan, pivoting, if you will. So we were talking about earlier, Chris at Peak, if you're still around, you switching from like purchasing things from Amazon bin stores till now strictly 99.9% of Ethan's reselling is strictly shoes.
Yep.
Give us that story of the evolution, the pivoting moment, the pivoting point that happened like within this year that you've been reselling, Ethan. Like, why transitioning over into just niching down on a certain thing than just being a catch-all reseller, if you will?
For sure. No, so the catch-all reseller was probably December till July. So like right at when I first got on the first podcast was like the first into it of like I was like doing everything. I was loving it. And it was like anything I can find, I'll flip it. Like whether it's electronics, whether it's shoes, whether it's clothing, whether it's whatever. It was more important of just finding stuff. And then I just kind of dumbed down and I was just like, I don't like selling electronics because I get returns all the time because they're like, oh, well, it broke during shipping, even though I bubble wrapped it 18,000 times and stuff like that. So it's just like, there was a lot of stuff that I wasn't liking. So I then niched down from like, no more electronics. I'm only doing clothes and shoes. So shoes wasn't that much. And I'd go to like the Goodwill bins or the Goodwill outlet store and I'd find whatever I could find and I'll go to the Goodwills and stuff like that. But then I was just like, I hate taking measurements of clothing. I can't stand it. Like I'll wash them and that's whatever. And I don't like ironing clothes anyways. And half my shirts are wrinkled now. And it's just, I don't know. I just didn't like doing the clothing thing. And I was really burning myself out of reselling because I was making okay money doing it, but I wasn't making it like where it more felt like a 9-to-5 job than like having fun with it. My whole intention of like working in general is I'm never going to work somewhere where I'm not having fun and I'm not enjoying it. And so I was just like, okay, I hate clothing. Let's just do shoes. And I will never, ever sell anything ever again. Unless there's like anything else other than shoes. Unless there's like a Nintendo DS for $5 and I know I can make $200 out of it. That stuff like that, where it's like a quick thing that I know that I can get my money back really fast. I won't sell other things. But I won't store massive things either. So that's kind of the progression of just like I started doing everything because I saw everybody else doing everything. I just wanted to be like everybody else, and I wasn't being true to who I was. And playing soccer, like for 17 years of my life, I know shoes, I know cleats, I know shoes, I know everything about cleats that you could name. And so it was just kind of an easy transition of just like, okay, cleats into shoes and studying shoes. And I just kind of fell in love with the understanding and the knowledge. And like, I continually learn about new shoes, brands that are coming out and stuff like that, that you may not see for another year, but when they do come out, I'll be like one of the first people to know, because it's like, oh, like these not for a year, they're rare, stuff like that. So it's more of fell in love with the knowledge of it than falling in love with like the actual action of it, for everything else.
I like it. I like it. So, that's awesome, Ethan.
Mhm.
So it sounds like you learned a lot within the year that you've been doing it. And I'm getting this like common theme here, Ethan, just like being true to yourself, if you will.
Yeah.
You know, like you were talking about TikTok and like how you didn't like it because it's like, I don't know, it was kind of like eating at you. And then it's like it looks like within this year you really like found not necessarily the reseller person that you are now, but just kind of like growing as a person.
Yeah.
You know,
It's definitely been I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's happened in the last year for me personally that's been like a big adjustment, because I went from playing college soccer to doing reselling full time. I got engaged. Like, there's a lot of growing up that I've done.
congratulations.
Thank you. There's been a lot of stuff that's happened in my life that I've just kind of had to do the whole grow ups thing. And so it's taken me a while from like freshman year of like, oh, I'm just going to go flip everything, to like, just because it's making me money instead of like doing what I actually enjoy. And even though sometimes cleaning shoes is a pain, I see the end result of it and I really enjoy it. And I'm making money in the way that I feel comfortable with making money, and I feel happy about making money, not that I'm just dreading making money. So that for me is the big switch of it all. So
I love it, man. I love it. Can you let's say like someone that may be struggling with finding themselves, if you will, like what were some of like, I don't know, like what were some indications that you're like, man, I'm not like I need to like pivot here. Like I need to be, like you said, true to myself and do the things that I want the way that I want them and just grow from there. Well, like, could you give us a little insight on that maybe?
I think the way that I learned on pivoting was taking legit from like forever ago, of like just noticing what people wear, and like, oh, I always told my parents like, oh, I want to have the coolest shoes, but I don't want to spend the most amount of money, which is crazy because that's literally what I do. Of like, I don't want to buy $700 shoes, but I'll pay $20 to flip it to $300 kind of a thing. So I think it was just more of just like, I've always been fascinated by shoes, the colors, the different colorways, the different brands, the different models, stuff like that. And so it's just one of those things where it's like, soccer was a big portion of it, as that was a big part of my life forever, and it still is. But it's been like, I took the biggest parts of my life and the things that I love and enjoy doing, and just focusing it in towards my job. So like, I told people that there was going to be 2 other jobs that I was going to do other than reselling. I was going to work at the Masters at Augusta. Like, if I could get any other job, is that would be a job that I would want to get like full time. Or I would want to do something within soccer, whether that's play, be within the club, something like that. Other than that, I want to do reselling because it's what I love doing. And I can't think of another thing that I would enjoy more than selling shoes. And I was thinking about it on the drive back from seeing my fiance. And I was like, it's crazy to me that I'm thinking like, oh, for the rest of my life, I could sell shoes. And I could be so happy. But like, when like my family members look at me, like when I'm 80 years old, they're like, oh, he sold shoes for a living and that's what he did. And he made good money with it, but he was happy. I would be more happy with that than I was like, oh, I did like my degree of like marketing. Like, I sat in a marketing cubicle and hated what I was marketing just because I just wanted to get a job. And so that's the big pivot of doing what you love, but not sacrificing it for making the money for what you could make the money for. Because I mean, I could probably, working up the chain, I could probably go find a job that's a 6-figure job in marketing and make good money, but I may hate marketing that product or that business just because I don't like it, but it's just because I'm making good money. Or I could do exactly what I love. I can use my marketing degree, use my negotiation tactics that I learned in my marketing degree for my business, market my business, stuff like that. So it's just within myself. It's just learning a lot about who I am as a person and what I enjoy, and then translating that into what I sell.
I love it, man. I love it.
It's
What
awesome.
does your fiance think about you as has she always known? Have you been dating for a long time, or is this like a college?
No, so we've been dating since we were 16.
Okay, that's a long time.
Well, no, so I guess I was 15. She's 6 months older than me.
Okay,
So we met at a party. It was like a 16th birthday party
a
for one of
rager.
our mutual friends in Atlanta.
Okay.
Rager.
So I'm from Charleston, and my fiance is from Atlanta originally. So I didn't know who this person was. This was just a weird invitation that, like, it was one of my best friends that had moved from Charleston to Atlanta, and she lived in Atlanta. So we were just at that same party, and we got connected in a friend group, and then we started talking, dating, now to engage. So it was 2016, 2017 maybe. So we've been dating for 5.5 years. Dating, now engaged.
Yeah.
So it's been a long time. So she's seen me go from high school soccer to college soccer to flipping everything to flipping shoes. And I told her that her ring was from 200 Air Forces, and she loves it. So
I love that. I love that. What does she think about you reselling? Does she think it's like, oh, I'm gonna marry this hoarder guy, or or is she more like I'm marrying this entrepreneur? Like, what is her thought process?
Her thought process is that first of all, she loves me. So whatever I enjoy, she loves me for it, whatever I want to do, which I'm very grateful for. Her concern at first was me making money enough that if I was going to do it full time, that I was going to make enough money to help supplement her job, because she's very smart. She's nuclear technologist, nuclear medicine technologist.
Sorry. That's why Ethan put a ring on it right there.
Exactly. She's very smart.
Yeah.
No, she's very smart. I always knew she was very smart, but she will do incredible in her career, whatever direction and wherever we land. But I knew that I was going to have to contribute no matter what, if she made way more money than me or if I made way more money than her. And so I was just like, hey, like, I brought it to her. I was like, would you be comfortable with me trying this for a year? And if it doesn't work out, then I'll go do something. And she was all for it. And so I have a year.
You have a year. I like it.
Get it done.
There's a timeline. So that's
It
good.
works. But for right now, and I'll be open and honest, I'm making as much, if not a little bit more, than an entry level marketing position.
That's good.
So that's me in college. So I think that there's a big gap that I'm going to have as soon as I get out of college, of me not having to do homework and papers and tests, of that I'm going to have more time to do this, that I think that I can make decent money doing it.
That's great. That's great that you say that, Ethan, because that actually segues to our next and last question of the podcast, and that is Ethan's future. What do you got that you got planned, Ethan? It looks like you got. If I know you from a little bit, Ethan, and I know that those little hamsters are working hard in that little head of yours, spinning on that wheel, and I know that you got things planned out.
Yeah.
So what's the future looking like for Ethan?
So graduating in May. So I'm done with school in May, which is, for me, is a massive accomplishment, not only just getting a degree, but I finished it in 3 years. So that for me is awesome. And
That's
the
awesome.
fact that
Congrats.
I did reselling while I was in school and did it in 3 years, that for me is a big achievement for me. But from what I'm taking that from then is we're getting married in July, and then we are going to live wherever she lands a job. And from there, we will work out where I'm going to actually be reselling from, depending on where that is. But the future is that I'm going to try to do full-time reselling for a year. And if it goes well, then we will continue doing it. If it doesn't, then we will supplement it, and I will continue doing reselling with another job. But I would like to think that I have the ability and the work effort to make it a full-time job and make enough money where I could supplement it as saying like, oh, a marketing position would get me X. Can I make more or the same kind of stuff? That's my goal by the end of the year. This month is a good tell of where it's going to end. So I'll be interested to see how much money I make by the end of this month. Because going into the summer months, and it'll be kind of crazy because of the whole wedding thing and getting married and a lot of time off that I'll have. It'll be interesting to see where it progresses after. But I think I'm more comfortable, if that makes sense. I'm not as anxious as I was in July of like all of the uncertainty of whatever it's going to hold for me. Like, I now know that I'm graduating. I now know that I'm getting married. I now know that there's a lot of stuff that's good, that I'm very blessed by the Lord to like look forward to. I don't I'm happy to not know, which is kind of cool.
Oh, that's awesome, dude. That's awesome. Great goals, man. Great goals. I know that last time we spoke to you, you had just gotten your storage unit and you plan on just killing it. And to where you are now, you're killing it, man. Like you see those box pictures and it's like, what are you selling like in a weekend? You know, like what's your average like sell
on a
shoes?
weekend or just during
the
week? So
just say like
probably 8 to 9 pairs a day. And then a weekend sometimes is upwards of 30. The highest I've had is 40, which is nowhere near where I want to have 40. Like I want to come back in a year and come back on the podcast and say I'm doing 40 during the weekdays. That's what I want to have.
And you're going to have an assistant.
Yes, that too. I want to hire somebody by the end of the year as well.
That's right. That was one of the yeah, exactly. Hey, there you go. You can hire a college
kid to clean my shoes. That's what I'm gonna hire.
Yeah,
I don't like cleaning shoes, but I will love.
Or even a high school kid. Get a high school kid.
High school kid.
Yeah. Show the ways.
Our video that is actually dropping this following Saturday is all about cleaning shoes to resell. So maybe I got a good tip in there that we use to clean our shoes. So make sure you guys catch that. But let's Unique Tennessee had a great question. They say, how many shoes do you have to sell to supplement a nuclear scientist? Ethan, I'm sure it's a lot. So and Marie has a question on here. She says, Ethan, do you follow Renzi on YouTube?
I follow them on Instagram and on YouTube and everywhere. And I love those guys. Those guys have been a very big support for me. They followed me and I freaked out because they're big guys in the community. And they've been really supportive of how I've progressed as from where I was to where I am now in the shoe selling world. But I think the biggest thing for the Renzi perspective is that like they've been doing it. They're where I want to be, and where I want to go. Not past because I want them to succeed, but I want to be at their level, if not with the big guys as well.
I love it. I love it, man. And here's a great way to end the podcast. We have how do you say her name, Ethan? Lydia Arnold. I'm late to the game, but my fiance here is proud of Ethan's hard work and happy to watch him enjoy it. So there you go, guys. Anything else for the people, Dustin?
I got nothing.
You got nothing.
What about
you? What about you, Ethan? Any last words?
I think that we should do this like every year. I think that that's fun for me of like doing a part 2, part 3, part 4. Because
I love it. Put it on the calendar.
It's kind of like the Fast and Furious. Just keep on going until we get to.
Hopefully we don't get as bad as the Fast and Furious though.
Hey, part 4, we're in space, guys.
We're in space.
Yeah.
I found what is it? So I saw somebody say, if the last Fast and Furious, Fast 10, if you will, if it's not called Fast 10, your seatbelt, it shouldn't be called the movie at all. So Fast 10, your seatbelt, fasten your seatbelt. So there you go, guys. So that concludes another fantastic episode of This Week in Reselling. Like always, make sure you subscribe to the podcast, follow us on all of our social media platforms, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok at the Nashville Flippers. And make sure you leave a 5-star review and a written review, because once we get something else on there, we're going to start reading them on the podcast. So if you want to hear your name, maybe give a shout out, write a written review, and we'll make sure to read those out loud. So anything else for the people, Ethan? Last words.
Oh man. Last time you left me on this cliffhanger too, and I didn't think of anything. I think that enjoy what you're doing. Don't do something you hate.
I love it. That reminds me, I wish I could play the music. If not, YouTube will take us down. But the song that comes to mind it's on the Mulan soundtrack from back in the day. 98 Degrees. Be true to your heart, Dustin. You remember that song?
Yep.
There you go. So guys, be true to your heart. My name is Ray.
My name's Dustin.
My name's Ethan.
And we will catch you guys on the flip side. See y'all and God bless. Peace.
Flip it, don't skip it.